Hello and welcome to the Ground Podcast. I am back on this channel. I have been focusing on my other channel, Navigating. Please do check that. I do really interesting topics over there. But this channel is all about sports and what I feel about my own teams and the sports I support. Today, we are going to talk about why, if you use the logic of Ruben Amorim's sacking that Manchester United have used, Arteta should have been sacked way back in his second or even just third season. Now, I'm a big Arsenal fan, so I obviously care more about Arteta, but I do feel about Ruben Amorim as well because, look, I cannot digest the fact that United finally improved their form under Amorim, and obviously he had to change formations, and we'll talk about that. But sacking him when it was really going good for them, and now is it the fault of Ruben Amorim as well? Yeah, maybe he's just like, this is it. I can't understand why the board is not backing me. I can't understand why they hired me in the first place because I play three at the back. United have never played three at the back. And even though we know that formations don't really matter anymore, and Arteta has said it multiple times and Guardiola has said it multiple times that it's so dynamic, I don't really care about formations. But the fact is that if you on paper play three at the back, you kind of know what kind of players are going to play for you. So if you play 4-3-2-1 or 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3, you kind of know what kind of players are going to play for you, or how the team is going to function. Yeah, we all know in the defense is going to be 4-4-2, or while attacking it could be like 3-1-5-2 or something like that. I don't know. We don't talk about formations in the way we used to talk about them 20 years ago, but still you kind of get an hang of how the team is going to function based on the initial squad sheet that comes up. So Ruben Amorim used to play three at the back, and obviously the wing backs were a very key thing in this kind of a formation. And I won't dive deep into it because my other channel host or co-host Vedant, he will give me a proper deep dive into the formation thing because he's a Manchester United fan, and I'll post that. But let's just focus on Amorim here. He had to change the formation. He then started to get results because we have to understand that in any league, even in the top 5 leagues, if you have a 4-2-3-1 formation, your team kind of gets good enough points to be in and out of, top 10, because that's a formation that a lot of players are used to. That's a formation where most players are really accustomed to the primary job that they have. So it's going to work for you. But it's, in 10 games, it could give you 5 wins and 3 draws, or 6 wins and 2 draws and 2 defeats. That's going to happen. But this formation is not going to give you 10 wins in a row anymore, right? Because there is constant change. You need more players who are more dynamic, who can take different roles at different part of the games. But you need players for that. So if you're forcing a manager to abandon his own system and then go for a system that is very common, and go for a system that will give you good results, but the manager is not going to be happy and you're going to get more draws out of it, then you're going into trouble. But having said that, let's just first look at why he was sacked, because he said some things as well. So I'm just going to, let's go and look at The Athletic. Ruben Amorim has been sacked by Manchester United. The Portuguese final game on his 14-month spell as head coach. 1-1 draw against Leeds. That leaves them 6th in the Premier League, which is still not bad after 20 matches, the way or like where they were last season. I think this is so good. Yes, they are not the team that's going to, threaten anyone above them, but still, this United team had a few really good moments, and you never know in big games how they can perform. They defeated Chelsea. That was a really good game that I watched. All right, the club leadership team, including Chief Executive Omar Barrada and Director of Football Jason Willox, November 2024, he came. Okay, there is no clause present to enable a discounted exit, meaning United will have to pay up his contract in full. That's okay. Yeah, so this is a statement that he said, I think, that, okay, let's read this. Those working alongside him making clear in his post match press conference that he considered himself the manager of United and not the coach, not just the head coach. So there's a bit of a difference. I don't quite know like what is the main difference, but I think it's just when you're a manager, you're not just looking at the first team, but you're looking at day-to-day happenings in the scouting department, in the young program department, and maybe developing facilities and other things, and I think maybe hiring, you're looking after that as well. Arteta was a head coach and then he became a manager, I think, midway through his second or first full season, I think. mm, it's going to be like this for 18 months, or when the board decide to change Amorim. That was my point. I want to finish with that. I'm not going to quit. I'll do my job until another guy is coming here to replace me. So he was like, okay, I'm not going to continue this, but yeah, I mean, it's all right if they want me or if they don't want me, but I'm not going to continue maybe. Due to his preference for a 3-4-3 setup, however, the Athletic reported in December that United had been trialing other formations in training. Against Newcastle United on December 26, Amorim's side recorded a 1-0 win playing in a 4-2-3-1 before reverting to 3-4-3 and drawing again 1-1 against Wolves and days later against Leeds. Yeah, I think the formation was a big thing, which is, I mean, I don't know what to say now. You can't really. And that's where now I'll come to the Arteta point. Yeah. But before that, let's just first look at Amorim's transfers, because the way he was playing the 3-4-3 formation, as I said, whatever I understand, it requires you to have really quick fullbacks who will defend aggressively, who will make runs aggressively and cross aggressively and get into the box aggressively as well. You need a striker who can perhaps, play multiple roles as well, not just a very traditional Haaland kind of thing, but can connect with the front creative midfielders and the wing backs as well, and not take their places. So it's like you need those kind of players for your team, for your that formation to succeed. Or any manager will of course need it. So you need to support the manager, and you need to give players that the manager wants, or the scouting team the manager has requested, come up with some players, and then they decide, okay, this is going to be a really right fit. Because you look at Matheus Cunha, you look at Mbomo, you look at Shesko, they're like really doing well under Amorim. And even though, they lack midfielders, they lack someone who could be box to box or could be a deep lying playmaker, they're doing quite well. Let's look at Manchester United and Ruben Amorim's purchased players. Yep, there you go. Okay, so let's look at the transfer. Here we go. Benjamin Šeško, Mbumo, Matheus Cunha, and Patrick Dogu. They're showing like these are the main transfers. And you know what? He has actually played with Victor Gyökeres. No wonder he wanted Gyökeres at United. Could have been so different, because we kind of see Arteta struggling with integrating Victor Gyökeres already. But still, I mean, so these are the players. So he's signed Lamens as well. I think there should be, I think some United players as a coach of United, because these are, I think, ranked by this. So yeah. Diego Leon, Aiden Heaven. Look at that. These are not the transfers perhaps he wanted or he should have had. Yeah, so we can clearly see that maybe he's not getting the transfers that he anyways wanted. Now I'll come to my actual point, which is the point of the video, is Arteta should have been sacked if this logic was applied to him. I think he got a lot of support from Arsenal, and that's why he is here, and that's what United and Chelsea and Liverpool understand that. But United and Chelsea mostly, they've had enough problems with managers, and they should understand that they have to support the manager, completely back him up for 3 years. Even if he doesn't do that well, you need to back him up, unless it's like maybe an Emery type situation or something, like you have supported him. Also, I still think that Emery wasn't supported that well in Arsenal, but still, I mean, okay, you've given that manager everything they need, they have the players, but still haven't performed, then you can sack them. But to sack them without actually supporting or hiring a manager who you know that has a formation in his mind, but not supporting him with the players that he wants, is not going to work out. I want to go and look at when Arteta took over Arsenal, and it was, I clearly remember, it is 20th December. His first game was a 0-0 draw against Everton. But you look at the pathetic situation he was brought in on, because Arsenal had like one victory in how many games before he joined? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In 9 games, Arsenal just won once. It was a really bad situation. Unai Emery, the players had lost his respect. The manager did not have anything, in support of him. Look at the draws against Crystal Palace, Wolves, loss against Leicester City away, but draw against Southampton, Norwich. It was so bad. And of course, Manchester City defeating Arsenal 3-0. This is where Arteta was brought in. Let's look at where he finished. Okay, this is okay. He played 20 games, managed 20 games, lost 5 of them, somehow resurrected Arsenal to 8th position. His first full season, he lost 13 games and finished 8th again. Now, if this was Amorim type situation, United would have sacked him, because 8th is just not accepted without, for United. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know what the thinking behind them is. I don't know how they expect any manager to just come in and win straight away. It's just not going to happen. Arteta's situation was different. Of course, I do understand the context. Amorim already managed Sporting CP, had won the title, and then came in as a seasoned manager. Arteta was an assistant manager, whatever it is. But you're taking the risk to hire a manager who, maybe if you don't believe in so much, then just give him 2 years, support him, and then move on. Otherwise, don't hire him. Do not hire that person. So look at that. Finish it. The next season for Arteta was 5th. Again, no Champions League. Second full season, no Champions League. He should have been sacked here. He should have absolutely been sacked here. Let's look at who has Mikel Arteta signed. I don't know if I can. Okay, yeah, let's look at dates. 2025. Okay. So so they gave him Pablo Mari, which was a loan fee. Cedric Suarez. Oh my God, I do remember these players playing, and they were good players, but playing for Arsenal, they just never really made it and, took Arsenal to like a certain level, but they gave it all. I don't know. Cedric Suarez was actually, he was there at Arsenal without playing a game, I think, in one season or something. He signed Willian because he felt Willian could take them to really good heights, of course. Gabriel Magalhaes was a brilliant signing. He wanted a centre back. They gave him Gabriel. So you can look at the players that they're bringing in. United, if you look, they often sign like a star player instead of signing bunch of nobodies that the manager actually needs. And yes, Arsenal did not have a lot of money back then. Yes, Arsenal's some targets that Arteta really wanted did not quite convert, but they still got him players in positions that he wanted. United needed players in the midfield. He didn't get it. They wanted players in the defense. He didn't get those players. But you look at Arsenal, he got Gabriel. He wanted depth at centre back because, back then we did have a lot of centre backs. He, of course, got Martin Odegaard. Thomas Partey, he was like the key signing for Arteta because he wanted a player who can really help in transition. Thomas Partey was an amazing player, but obviously he was a very bad person in the end. We know the cases that were with him, and yeah, obviously, actually, you know what? I shouldn't have mentioned him because we know how bad of a person he is. I don't need to talk about it, and maybe Arsenal should have taken some other steps. But yeah, okay. But Martin Odegaard, Tavares didn't work, but still he was a left back and fit the profile that Arteta wanted back then. Lokonga didn't work out, but he still got it. Ben White, look at that. Ben White was signed in 2021, still playing, and was one of our best players in, I think, 2022 and 2023 as well. And obviously, Martin Odegaard then was signed on a permanent deal. He got Ramsdale, the keeper, who absolutely helped us in like just having a really assured goalkeeper at the back. So he got the goalkeeper. You look at United, the kind of goalkeepers they are getting. Tomiyasu was a brilliant buy. Again, nobody came in Arsenal and really played well. So I don't want to, okay, I don't want to obviously go. You look at Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus and Trossard. Okay, so the point is now you get it that even if Arteta failed in the first couple of seasons, he still got the players that he wanted in that particular positions, and then he went on to improve and improve and improve, and then finished second thrice in a row. The third season was a blip. Unfortunately, that was a blip. The last point I wanted to make is what I feel, and I could be absolutely wrong because, again, I'm not a pundit or anything. I just try to understand things. I feel Ruben Amorim should have used something like what Arteta did. So Arteta always, I think he knew what's his best formation is and 4-3-3 and what kind of profiles he wanted to fit into that. And we now see what he's doing at Arsenal. But at the beginning, with the players that he had, he wasn't really stubborn into playing playing the style that he wanted to play. He was looking at the players, he was looking at how I can bring the best out of them. And a big proof of it is, I remember, it was, I think, Manchester City FA Cup semi-final. The time that we actually, I think, won the FA Cup. I don't remember. Okay, so it was against City. And the tactic that he had worked out with Kieran Tierney and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was that Aubameyang make runs through the channels and Kieran Tierney hit it first time. So give Aubameyang first time balls. And that really, really worked amazingly well with, against City and against Chelsea. So that's like one kind of proof, of course, but there are many other examples using, different players in different positions, but also recognizing what's the best thing to do right now to get some kind of results instead of finishing 15th or 10th or 8th every time and then waiting for the board to give him the right players and then making that leap. Because obviously he understood that for Arsenal it is important to get into the Champions League. The first step has to be that, and then we will do what we want, right? So I think Amorim had to do that. He didn't do that. I think, yes, okay, United hired him for a style, but if he wanted to do that style and if the relationship between the board wasn't that well, I think maybe he could have changed the formation a bit, built it step by step, and then try to bring in players that he wanted. And then throughout his maybe third season, by the end of third season, he's then implementing his tactics that are now going to take United to a title chasing team. Maybe not win it, but at least be in the title hunt till January and February. So yeah, I think maybe it was from both sides, but it was more from the board side, and United are back to where it all started. No hope. I feel bad for them. Alright, that was the video. If you like the video, please do subscribe. And the thing is, I am a genuine fan of sports. I watch cricket, F1, football majorly, but I am of course interested in other sports. And I'm not a pundit. I'm not here to say, okay, this is what is wrong and this is what is right. I'm just trying to find out things that are happening and try to understand. I want to build a community of good sports watchers who are not going to just laugh and banter on United and, really enjoy their downfall. I'm not that kind of a person. And I think many people are not that as well. Yes, banters are all right, but I don't like to do it all the time. I want to find out what's going wrong, why is it happening like that, and I want people to be competitive and clubs to run well and players to pay, be happy, and obviously clubs taking the right stand against whatever the political situation is happening. Yes, I'm that kind of a person. So if you are that, do subscribe, comment, and yeah, maybe join the community once maybe I make that community. I don't know when I will make it. Do check out my other channel as well, where I talk about media information, how it shapes us, how it affects us, diving deep into AI and news media, how it affects Indians, and it's all bunch of things. And this is a fun channel. You can suggest me if you want something. I was also thinking doing something on F1, and I have a very good idea about how F1 can, implement some changes that will just encourage overtakes in the next season as well. And maybe I'll make some videos on cricket as well. All right. Until next time.